Well, hello, everybody. This is Meagan Pinkney here again for another episode of Joseph's Ministry Podcast. As you know, we meet every first Thursday of the month. And this month, we're going to continue in our series of talking to various entrepreneurs in their lane. They're handling business, and these are my friends. Okay, so I am super excited to come and introduce our guest for today, and for her to just tell us so much about her experience being an entrepreneur and just an all-around awesome person. Okay, this is an awesome woman of God, but I don't want to go into it too deep. But Tori, welcome.
Yes. Hey, Meg, thank you so much for having me here. Listen, I'm so excited to be asked here. So thank you for trusting me with your audience and trusting me with your platform. I'm honored, and I don't take it for granted when I'm invited into your space. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time. So let's dive on in. So tell us who you are. What do you have going on? Where are you located so that people can know what's going on with you?
Yeah. So my name is Tori Dixon. I am a licensed professional counselor, and I have a private practice here out of Dallas, Texas. We are based in Dallas. It's called Graceful Journey Counseling. I also see clients in Georgia. So I have an extended virtual office out in the state of Georgia where we see clients in Georgia and in Texas. I actually moved to Dallas on February the 11th of 2017. So I'm just almost a little about 8 years here in Texas. I have a little bit of a moving background, and I guess we can get to that a little bit later, but I'm not originally from Texas. I came here from Raleigh, North Carolina. I was there for 2.5 years. I managed a funeral home out there. And before Raleigh, I was in Atlanta, Georgia for 11.5 years, where I started my mortuary career. I have been a licensed mortician, and I've worked in that field for now 18 years. And that's where my career started. But I am a PK, was born in New York. My mom is the actual pastor, so I was born in New York. I was raised in Charleston, South Carolina, and Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so I have a bit of a moving background, and nobody was in the military. So that's the thing. So usually people are like, girl, you was here, there, who was in the military? And I always say my mom was a soldier in the army of the Lord. So
I love it. I've learned some things today. And I love having these interviews because even though I'm interviewing friends and family, that doesn't mean I know everything, right? There's always some nuggets that we can always learn from the people that are in our circle. But I think you and me are kind of alike because we have so many different things that we do, and they seem unrelated. They seem very unrelated, but as I get older and I continue to walk in purpose, they're not so uncommon as I thought. So, it's very interesting. It's like a puzzle. It's kind of like just a journey just to uncover, what God has given you to manage. So, you mentioned being a mortician, and now you're a counselor, and I want to talk about all that. Because I am sure we talked about it right before we started recording. There's going to be somebody who has a desire to be a mortician. There's going to be somebody on here watching that has a desire to be a counselor. So you're both. And my heart to bring guests on is to share their authentic experience, but also to show the path for others following. I don't know very many morticians that I have their number.
Listen, and the funny thing about that is that although I have not worked in mortuary science as full-time since I started my own private practice, I actually just helped one of my great friends 2 weeks ago. The service was actually on yesterday in Detroit. I actually helped them plan and get things together for a funeral. One of their parents passed away, and I actually, so his parents, his dad just passed, but I also arranged the services for his mom back in 2017 to get her back to Detroit for her final services. So I've had clients in my counseling that they've lost loved ones, and I'm the first person that they call and they say, "You're a mortician. We don't know what to do. Can you help us?" And my answer is absolutely yes. And so while it all does seem disjointed, I say all the time, if you remember the story of Hansel and Gretel, and they left their house and they would drop little seeds so that they could find their way back. If you walk in the purpose of God, God will always drop little seeds in your history so that you can always find your way back home to Him, because ultimately any and everything that He gives you, it's only to lead you right back to the purpose giver, to the life giver. He wants it all to come back to Him anyway. So if you just look in your history, I know lots of people say, I'm trying to find my purpose, look at the breadcrumbs behind you. Look at the things you've done. Look at the places you've been. Look at the stuff that's influenced you. And all of those things will give you those context clues as to where you need to go next. And that really is the story of my life. My life really has been God dropping these little things along the way. And like you said, now that I'm here and I look at the life that I have now, I said, oh, you told me that I was going to do this when I was 21. I just didn't see the full picture. And now as I'm pulling the lens back, I can see that all of these things now have come together to start working in one little life. And I'm like, oh my God. Look at what you done.
No, it's a beautiful thing. But like you said, to look back, I remember, Tori, I was in the 5th grade, and my mama can attest to this, and my sister. I'm from Louisiana, and we had our 5th grade graduation, and they called my name up at the end of the ceremony, and they wanted to award me with a citizenship award. I didn't know what that meant. At that time, I didn't really care. I mean, I'm a child, I'm just like, why are you calling my name? And I went up there and they took a picture, and I'm like so confused. And they gave me this huge trophy and a certificate, which I still have the certificate to this day. But I asked my mom, I said, well, what can we go ask my teachers? Like, what did I do? And the teacher said, hey, we observed Meagan the entire year, and she ended up helping another 5th grader pass 5th grade. Had she not done what she did, this person wouldn't have passed. And I'm like, what did I do? But be Meagan. And that's exactly what the Lord has used me to do, is to help people get to their next level. It can be through prayer. It can be through book publishing. It can be through starting a bit, whatever. All I'm doing is helping you get to the next level in whatever way that is. But that was her nuggets.
Those are the little nuggets. And I tell people all the time, I was about to graduate from the University of Oklahoma. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, Lord, I'm about to graduate with a degree that, I wasn't an engineer. It wasn't in, nursing. I wasn't in HR. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I just knew I wasn't going to go back to New York where my mom was at the time. I was like, what? And Meagan, I remember waking up and the Lord gave me, I'm going to pull it up just so that I can see it. The Lord gave me Isaiah 61:1. And at the time I was like, okay, I'm going to read it just because it's just the thing. So I was like, okay, this is a lot. And then, if you read anything about the word, it's like Isaiah, what? And it says, the Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and to the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, to console those who mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they may be called the trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, and He may be glorified. Right? So he gives me this scripture, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. I go to a funeral for a sister in Christ. Her brother passed away. I go to this funeral. This was the second funeral I had been to in my whole entire life. The first one was my grandmother. This one was the second. We are sitting in the choir pews because our church choir was singing, and the Holy Spirit speaks to me at a funeral, and he says, I want you to be a funeral director. And now the pastor is praying, our heads are bowed. I lift my head up real quick because this was an audible voice. This was the first time, and really the only time in my life, that I had heard an audible voice. And so I'm looking around, because at this point I grew up Pentecostal, so I began to bind the hands of the enemy. I was speaking in tongues. I was like, the devil is a lie.
Right.
I'm up in this funeral. I don't know what's going on. So I bow my head again, and the voice said, I want you to be a funeral director. And this time I knew it was the Lord. And I was like, well, why? Clear. He says, because there are people sitting in the audience that are just as dead as the man in the casket.
Tori.
I said, what? There are people sitting in the audience that's just as dead as the man that's sitting in the casket.
So how does that translate to be a funeral director? How can you help them if they're still alive?
Child, that was my question, right? And so I said, well, okay. I just said, okay. I said, okay.
I understand.
Nobody else in my family had ever done this, and I kept this thing a secret. So usually when you talk about being a funeral director, it's usually a family business. Somebody's passing down, you have a relative. There was nobody in my family that was doing this.
Wow.
And I kind of held it in my heart for a little while. I couldn't tell nobody, because how am I gonna tell my mama?
Yeah.
I went to college 4 years, and now I'm about to go be a mortician. It just is not going to go over well.
No,
it's not going to go over well, right? So I didn't say anything to anybody. Okay.
Wow.
I need you to hold that pen right there. About a month prior, this new couple had come to our church. If you went to college and you went to a PWI, there's only a few Black people, right, on a PWI campus. There's 25,000 students. You may have 10% of them that look like you, right? So this new couple, the basketball coach and his wife, he was the assistant, his wife, they came to our church one Sunday. And our pastor was like, this is the couple, they're on campus. If y'all see them, hug them, say hi. Y'all know it's only a couple of us here, so make them feel welcome. After church, the wife was pregnant. She had a little boy that was 8, and she was pregnant. I went to her, I said, listen, here's my name. I live on campus. If you ever need a babysitter, just give me a call. I don't got nothing to do. I'll babysit for you. I go to that funeral, and about 3 months after that, I'm at the snow cone place on campus, and I run into her. She's like, oh my God, you are the girl, because I had long, pretty nails in college. You're the girl with the long nails. I was at your church, and you gave me your number to babysit. She said, are you still available to babysit for me? Because my husband and I have an awards banquet, and we need somebody to sit with our son. I said, absolutely. She said, okay, well, come over to dinner. I want you to meet my son. I want you to sit with my husband, and we're going to just talk and, whatever. I said, okay, cool. Next Saturday, went to her house, had dinner. She cooked dinner. Food was great. She asked me a question. She said, so what are you going to do after you graduate from college? I said, to be honest with you, now mind you, I was not being honest with her, because I already knew that the Lord told me what I was supposed to do, but I can't tell this lady that. This
Right.
crazy. So I said, I don't know. I said, ma'am, honestly, I really don't know. I'm still praying about it. I said, I got to try to figure out something, because graduation is coming up. She's in the kitchen, and I'm sitting in the living room, and she goes, well, I think you should be a funeral director.
I'd be like, why'd you say that?
I said, huh? She said, yeah, I think you would make a great mortician.
Interesting.
I said, well, why? Why would you think that? She said, because you just have the personality. Everything about you says that you would be good as a funeral director. She said, my father was a mortician, and my family owns a funeral home in Birmingham, Alabama. And we have been in the business for over 30 years. And I think you should go to a school down in Atlanta. Now, what she didn't know was that I had already done research. I knew I couldn't stay in Oklahoma to go to the school, because they wanted me to get a whole nother bachelor's degree at Oklahoma City University. I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to New York, but I had found this school in Atlanta called Gupton Jones College. This woman said, well, I think you should go to Guthrie Jones College down in Atlanta because that's the school my daddy went to.
What? Tori.
And I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and be a mortician. I graduated. I moved to Atlanta. I went to Guthrie Jones College of Funeral Service. And if you want to be a mortician, Oklahoma City University has a 4-year degree program. As a matter of fact, one of my goddaughters actually followed in my footsteps, completed the program. She's now a licensed mortician in the state of Oklahoma. Dallas has the Dallas School of Funeral Service here. So there are so many schools. There's one in Alabama that they do online courses. There's the one in Atlanta. There's one in New York. There's one actually in Ohio as well. That's the parent company to the school that I went to. They also do mortuary science. So I went to Atlanta. I finished my associate's degree in mortuary science. I got a job and I started working as a funeral director. And the Lord literally used my life. I have probably served 5,000 families over my career. And having the opportunity to minister to folks during their most difficult times, to give them that oil of joy for mourning, to give them that beauty for ashes, it all just made sense. And I thought that that's what all that I was going to do. No. Until the Lord called me to be a therapist.
Okay, pause. Whoa, let us digest. Tori, I didn't know all this.
Yes.
What?
Girl.
So the Lord made it very clear to you. He gave you confirmations like, hey, nope, this is it. This is it. And for people who are watching or will watch on the replay, and they may be thinking, well, what is a mortician? So what do you do? What do you do day to day, overall theme of that position?
So a mortician is actually an individual who is licensed in the art of embalming and in the skill of funeral directing. So you actually are arranging, planning, and executing funeral services. And so that's from the time you get the death call, they call the funeral home in and report a death, getting those remains into your care, sitting with the family, asking them what their wishes are. You're planning the service, you're planning the interment, you're planning whether or not there's going to be a direct cremation or we're going to have a service. So that's the job of the funeral director. The job of the embalmer, some states allow you to have one license or both. And so if you are a mortician, that means you are licensed in both. And so with embalming, you are prepping and preparing, chemically prepping and preparing the body for viewing, visitation, or even perhaps cremation. And so that's what I did full time for 12 and a half years. I'm not an embalming girl, so injecting fluid, I wasn't doing that daily, but I was dressing, cosmetizing, casketing, making funeral arrangements, working funerals. I was doing all of that. I managed a funeral home. I did pre-need arrangements for families. That's when they come sit down, plan a service ahead of time, pay for it, so that when you do pass away, not if, you're going to leave here. So yes. When you pass away, you have everything in order. Your family is not trying to have a fish fry or put your face on a t-shirt or doing a GoFundMe, right? We want you to fund your own services. And that way, the service can be exactly what you wish it to be. A lot of people say, well, I'm not going to put no money in the ground. Listen, the average cost of a funeral home now in 2020, the average cost of a funeral now in 2025, it's going to run you anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000. That is without cemetery charges. So that's without the actual digging of the grave, the opening and closing of the grave, the outer burial container that you need for that grave, the headstone for that grave. It doesn't include any of that. So it's going to be in your best interest to sit down now with your family and have a plan. If you want to be cremated, you need to let them know that cremation is the option that you are selecting and choosing. Is cremation less expensive? That just depends on what you choose with that cremation. If you have a direct cremation, it's not going to be as expensive as if you chose a cremation with an actual service. So some people actually do a full-on service. They have us, have the body into our care. We embalm, we dress, we casket. And after that whole thing is done, then we do a cremation. But you still have to figure out what you're going to do with those cremated remains. They cannot sit on your mantle. That is not a final disposition.
Really?
No.
Is it illegal, or it's just like
it's illegal? It's just uncool. Take your grandmama to the cemetery, put her in a niche or put her at the foot of the grave of granddaddy or her daughter or her child. But keeping them in your closet, in the trunk of your car, sitting on your mantle, yes, the urn is pretty. It is very nice, but it is not furniture, right? It's a burial container, and you actually need to go and have a final resting place for that individual. Take grandma to the cemetery.
I think you're helping some people.
I think I'm helping somebody expeditiously because she has been there since 2007. No.
I think you're helping some people.
Yes.
Wow. I mean,
because then what happens to her when something happens to you? Do you anticipate that somebody's just going to have her in their home? That's not a good thing to anticipate. Go lay her into a final resting place so that everybody can, if they so choose, if that's your belief and you want to visit, then it won't be coming to my house. It'll be.
Man, you have such a unique set of skills and knowledge and experience. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. I mean, so I just want to make sure did you start your own company in that?
Listen, no, I didn't. I always wanted to, though. Like, it was always something that was in my heart. Because the goal was, so here was my plan. I was like, you know what? I loved Atlanta. It was peace up, A-Town down. I was going to be in Atlanta I was like, listen, I wasn't born in Atlanta, but I'm going to die in Atlanta. I'm going to have my kids in Atlanta. My grandkids going to be in Atlanta. I'm going to open me up a funeral home in Atlanta. I'm going to be 99 years old in Atlanta. And God was like, you really ain't. But okay, right? So the goal, so I thought I was going to open up a funeral home because that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to open a funeral home. And God just had other plans, but I've managed several different funeral homes on several different levels. And it just was an absolute blessing to do it. I love it. I love being a mortician. I love working funerals. Everybody asks me, would I ever go back? The answer is yes. If these clients stop showing up and they be like, girl, we don't want you to be our therapist no more, I'd be like, that's fine. Goodbye. I'm going to the funeral home. I'm just going to listen because I can always find a job at the funeral home. Doesn't matter what state I go into. Doesn't matter what
job security. Yeah.
Job security. So if y'all can't show up no more, y'all be like, she crazy. That's fine. That's fine. I'll just go ahead and go to work at the funeral.
Wow. But the fact that you have that vast knowledge and hands-on experience, and the biggest part for me is you have a heart for it. People can have a lot of book knowledge. They know how to do a lot of different things, but if you don't have a heart to do it, there's a problem. I can't give you that.
Huge problem. You have to be called into this because I knew that this was going to be it was the precursor to my ministerial career because all I did was minister to people every single day. I held their hands, I rocked their babies, I wiped their tears, I walked with them to the cemetery, I walked with them through times of grief and grieving. And so I knew that this was a calling. Like God literally called me and said, hey, this is what I want you to do. And I knew it. And so my heart has always been there. It's never changed. I can go back today, tomorrow, and I will be fine. I love it. I love it.
I mean, ever since I've known you, so just for some foundation, so we have mutual friends. Her best friend is a friend of mine that I met when I moved to Tulsa, and therefore we connected. And this has been over 10 years plus, I'm sure, at this point. But ever since I've known you, you've always been this bubbly, very pleasant to be around, kind. So I can see why, one, to be a counselor, but also to be positioned for people in their minds, the most horrible and difficult time that they're going through. You want somebody who has that spirit. You know what I mean? Not like, okay, come on, y'all. Come on, 2 o'clock, we gotta finish. We got another funeral.
Absolutely. I have asked people if I can let me hold your hand. Let me wipe your tears. Let me hug you for a little while. It's the most devastating thing that a person can walk through, whether it be burying their babies or burying their parents. And people always ask, what's the most difficult type of families to work with? And I always say, when someone dies, that's your age. That was, I remember this young lady's face right now. We were the exact same age, except her birthday was in May and my birthday was in August, and she passed away in her sleep. And that resonated with me because it really reminded me that this life is really so precious. When you come into face to face every day with your very own mortality, that death does not discriminate. Old people, it doesn't take babies, it doesn't take sick people, that death happens to us all, and it really gives you a deeper appreciation for the life that you want to live. You don't want to waste any time, you don't want to waste any energy, you don't want to waste obedience. Don't waste your obedience. Don't waste your obedience. You only have a little bit of time to be obedient to what God is calling you to do, and you don't want your time to expire and you've been disobedient with the time that you've been loaned. So my life as a mortician taught me so much about that, and then being able to carry that as the backbone into what I do as a counselor, as a therapist, as a minister. It has just been the most phenomenal thing to watch how God unfolded all of the rest of the commands, right? Everything else that he said, to heal the broken heart, to preach good tidings to the poor. I mean, that's what I do. I get to do that every day. I get to tell people that no matter how bad it is today, tomorrow, there is something. God can do something between now and the time you take a nap that can completely change your life. You thought that this thing was going to take you out, and God used that thing to take you in. Don't give up. This is why you don't give up on your life. This is why you don't walk away from your life. This is why you don't contemplate exiting this life before God, before you get to God's appointed time, because you're going to need your life to get to your next. That's the vehicle. When Jesus asked them if he can borrow that boat, even he needed a boat to get to the other side. You need your life to get to the other side of this storm, to the other side of this turbulence, to the other side of this uncertainty. So don't mess up your boat. Don't leave your life before you get to the other side, because there is something over there for you, and you're going to need your life to get there.
Girl, you preaching. I'm just looking at like, girl, you preaching. Yeah, I mean, but the thoughts of everything that you said was so true, and I can resonate for sure. But I'm thinking, and we'll get to the progression to your other side, because I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you went from being a mortician to a counselor. Is it like God had to humble you to understand the end result, to see the end first, and then be able to interact, if you will, with people that are in that space? Does that make sense? Is my question making sense?
It does. Okay. So 2 things happened where the Lord just really kind of was like, you're about to transition into something else. First thing he had to do was run me out of Atlanta. Okay. Because I wasn't gonna leave. And I had a personal crisis. So right before then, a close family member had a mental health crisis. And so we didn't know what to do. We had no frame of reference. And so I was like, listen, okay, I'm going to go back to school because I have to advocate for my sister. It was my sister. So I was like, I have to advocate for her. So I ended up going back to get my master's in mental health counseling to help my sister. Wow. Right. And so that happened. But a second thing happened. A lady that I will never ever forget her, Mrs. Samuels. She passed away from a broken heart. We had buried her husband the year before, and a year later, she had passed away. And there was nothing wrong with her, no physical ailments, and it was natural causes. But we knew that she had died from a broken heart. And what I knew from those 2 things was that mental health and emotional wellness is imperative for any griever. If you are going to survive a loss, if it's the loss of a job, if it's the loss of a marriage, if it's the loss of a relationship, if it's the loss of a loved one, if it's the loss of just you feel like I'm stuck, I've lost direction, I don't have the fire that I used to have to do the things that I used to do, if it's a loss of just my bearings, I don't have my bearings, if it's a financial devastation, if you are going to make it through any loss and recover on the other side of that, you have to have your mental and emotional health together. Mm-hmm. Because we don't know the thing that will break our hearts to the point to where it will break our psyche, and then we can't get again to the other side. We can't get to whatever is next. So when those two things happened, I was like, it would be really cool if I was a mortician and a therapist, because I've never heard of anybody meshing these two professions together. Like, I'm probably one of the only that has a license in both of these things, right?
Yes.
So it'll be really cool for me to do that. So I did it, right? But in order for God to get me here, he literally had to put an APB out on me to get me out of Atlanta, Georgia. And he used loss, and he used a huge loss in my own personal life to get me out of Atlanta. I was coming home from work. This was probably around 2012 or so. And I felt this, how you feel like an unction from the Holy Spirit, and it's like the thought just kind of came to my mind, you're going to be leaving Atlanta soon. And I was like, oh yeah, that's the devil. Because first of all, I got 2 good jobs. I got a house. I got my car. Like, east up, A-town down. No, right. I'm not leaving Atlanta. That ain't God. I was like, whatever. And it was such a fleeting thought, but it was so real. Like, you finna leave. And I was like, no. Girl, if I tell you a year later, I'm coming home from work, and I get into a car accident. This lady runs a stop sign and she T-bones me on my side. My car starts spinning, and I'm like this close to not running into a tree. Oh, Lord. And my car starts smoking. A man sees the accident. He comes and opens the door. I'm in shock. Ambulance come and get me. That car accident led to me losing my jobs, losing my home. And then the Lord said, remember I told you was going to leave Atlanta? I said, you could have put it on a billboard sign. You didn't have to do this. Like, this ain't that big thing.
You could have told me one more time. I was going to listen, but you didn't have to do that.
I needed one time. But those incidences led me to leave Atlanta, and I ended up going to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I feel like that was my backside of the desert experience. That God, just the way God used Jethro's house to send Moses to prepare him to be able to lead a nation. He was leading a nation. They were going to be a nation, but they started out as a people. And God used the backside of the desert to train him in order to get him ready so he could practice all the miracles. Put your hand in your coat, pull it out. You see you got the leprosy. Put it back in. Grab the staff. You see it turns to staff. Listen, when that stuff happened with Pharaoh, that was the final act. It wasn't the practice. He needed the backside of the desert to be able to practice, so that when God got him out and he put him in the front to lead the people, that he would know exactly what to do. If God is leading you to the backside of the desert, that's because you are about to lead something out of a desert. So while you are trying to in some way avoid the desert and you don't want to go there, and he's been calling you and telling you you need to move and you need to get to where you need to go, he's trying to prepare you. He's giving you a practice before the finale. So welcome your desert experience. Get in there. The faster you get in there, the quicker it'll be over so you can get ready to come out, okay? But you keep fighting the desert, and God needs the desert so that he can show you a new side of who he is. You need to, listen, he had to put his hand over Moses' eyes so he wouldn't see his face. But I'm going to show you a different side of me so you can see that I can work from different angles. You're the only one that's stuck in the angle of it has to look the way that I need it to look. God says he's multifaceted. He has multiple sides, and he needs to show you a different side of himself so he can introduce you to a different part of yourself. Moses never would have known that he was who he was had he not gone to Jethro's house. So go to Jethro's house. Stop avoiding Jethro's house and get to the desert, right? So Raleigh, North Carolina was my desert. Girl, I couldn't make a friend. Listen, I couldn't find no friends. I couldn't find a church. I was like, what are you doing? Like, what did I do to deserve this? I'm just trying to. And he says, listen, I'm sending you to Raleigh to walk through the desert because I'm about to send you to Dallas. And I need you to do some things in Dallas that you're not prepared to do yet. and Atlanta was stifling your growth. So I had to get you into the desert, away from your people, away from the folks you knew, away from what was familiar, away from what you just absolutely knew you could do, because I'm about to take you into something that you don't know what you're going to do now. Because you're not going to go to Dallas to be a mortician. You're not going to go to Dallas to be a funeral director. You're going to go to Dallas to be a therapist. And I need, here it is. I need to switch because see, listen, Moses, you are a Hebrew, but you were raised as an Egyptian. And I need to change your nationality. And I can only do that in the wilderness. I need to get the Egyptian out of you so that I can reignite the Hebrew in you, so you can connect to the people that I'm sending you to. So God literally had to change the mortician. He had to rearrange her because he needed her to be a therapist. And I had to get the mortician out of me in the desert, so that when I came here, I could accept the new identity and I wouldn't feel like I was losing something, so that I could do what he wanted me to do. I don't know who that's for.
It was for me.
I'm not sure.
What?
But that's what that desert was. That God had to shift my identity. He had to shift the identity so that I could be ready to be who he needed me to be in Dallas. And that was a therapist. And so
okay, let's pause. No. Tori. Okay, guys. So in addition to being a mortician, in addition to being a therapist, a counselor, she's also a teacher and a minister, as you can see. I'm sitting here like, Lord, you talking to me. What are we doing? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We're just talking about your life. We're just talking about your journey. But how is it that it's blessing us? I'm telling you.
Ooh.
But you said something so powerful. So looking in retrospect, had you skipped North Carolina and went straight from Atlanta, which you didn't want to leave anyway, went from Atlanta to Dallas, what did you pick up in the desert that you were like, you know what? I had to go there because I wouldn't have been ready for this.
What I picked up was obedience and submission. That's what the desert taught me. The desert taught me to deny what I feel like I know, everything I know, to deny that and pick up what God is calling me to pick up. Right? He had to strip it from me. He had to, and can I tell you that God wastes nothing. Nothing in the kingdom of God goes wasted. In Genesis chapter 1, when he said, let there be light, he ain't never made no more light.
No.
When he said, we're going to separate the firmaments by putting this sky here, he ain't made no more sky. When he said, I want to push the ocean back so that this water can be here and this one is going to be, he has not made no more air. He ain't made no more water. He ain't made no more dirt. But how is it that we never run out? You know why? Because he is a master recycler. So what he did was he gave us trees that's going to give us carbon dioxide, and that's going to give us oxygen, and we're going to give the trees carbon dioxide so that we can work in a system, so we can work together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you condensation. So when the water is going to come down, and then I'm going to let it condense. I'm going to give you heat so condensation can go back up so that the water can make itself again. I'm not making no more water. I'm going to give you an ocean, and I'm going to use the ocean to recycle itself so you can get rain. When God says, I'm going to make Meagan, he's making you with everything you got. So even though you used it in the 5th grade, he's not going to wait till you get 40 so you can go ahead and use it again. He's going to recycle everything that he gives you. So now, once I submitted myself to the Lord, he didn't strip mortuary science away from me, because I told you I just arranged a funeral last week. What he did was he gave me an opportunity to do it on the terms that is submitted to what he's calling me to do in this season. He's not going to take it away from you. I just need you to submit that to what I'm calling you to do in this season. And what did he do? He gave me a friend who owns one of the best funeral homes in the state of Texas, Mansfield Funeral Home. He owns 2 locations, and anytime I want to work a funeral, if I just get an itch in my soul, and I said, you know what, today is a funeral Saturday, I just feel it in my spirit, my black suit is calling me, and I need to work a funeral. All I do is just call her up, Christy, hey, how you doing? Can I come work a funeral today? I just feel like I want to work a funeral. I just want to sit with family. Girl, come on work. I have access to do what I absolutely love. I absolutely love both of the things that I do, but he didn't take it away from me. What he wanted me to do was humbly submit it to the way that he wants to use it. It's his gift. He gave it to me, and he's choosing to use it in this way. So now the mortuary gift has to submit itself to the therapy gift. Just get to do them both. Whenever
I love it.
I get to do them both.
But it's all in his master plan. His thoughts and ways are higher than our ways and thoughts. We may not understand it. So it had to take the backside of the desert, the mountain of this hard place to be like, yeah, you gonna buckle. I need you to submit this. We're not moving forward. We're not moving. We're not going back because you're gonna be touching people, and I don't need you to hurt people. We're not doing that. That's not the point. So submit that so you can get ready. So this is the time of preparation.
This is the time of preparation.
So you were preparing. Now, did you know at that time that counselor, I know you said, hey, I think I want to be a counselor. I think I want to be a therapist. So even in North Carolina, how did that come about with you pursuing that field?
So what happened is before I left Georgia, I had already completed my education, my master's degree, and I had already completed my 3,000 hours of because we got to do 3,000 postgraduate hours, and we do 600 hours in our degree program. So I had already completed the 3,000 hours, but once God ran me from Atlanta like he was chasing me and I had to get out, and get a job. So I ran to North Carolina and got a job working as a pre-need funeral director at a corporate funeral home. I had never worked corporate before. I had only worked mom and pop. I had only worked black funeral homes in Atlanta, mom and pop. So this was a corporate funeral home, and I got a job working at this corporate funeral home, and how I got the job is a whole nother story that we'll save for another day. But I ended up doing that for about a year and a half, and the guy that hired me, he retired, and he came upstairs to my office and he said, listen, I'm going to retire, and I'm going to tell the regional people that you are the only person in here that is suitable enough to actually run this place. Like these other ones, there were other funeral directors who had been there way longer than I was. And he said, listen, I'm going to tell them that you're the only person that can do this job. Nobody else is going to be able to run this place like you. And so he retired. He told the regional people that they needed to hire me, and they did. One of the funeral directors immediately quit after they hired me. Mind you, I was the first black woman, the first black person to actually ever hold a leadership position at this funeral home. And so just imagine all of that comes along with that. And so they quit on me. They tried to sabotage my career there. But because God is faithful, the company still was the highest grossing funeral home in the region. Every quarter that I managed, we were the highest grossing funeral home in pre-need sales. I sold nearly $1 million in pre-need in less than a year. And so it was, God was just using it. He totally used it. But he told me, he said, listen, even in the desert, when I send you to the desert, provision is already there waiting for you. It's not that I'm sending you there to kill you. I'm sending you there to develop you. And deserts usually, when we think of the desert, we think of hot. We think of, there's no water. But what you don't know about the desert is that when the evening time comes, it gets really cold in the desert, right? And water springs up from different places in the desert as the temperature is cooling. It happens when it cools and it's hot. It causes water to spring up in different areas of the desert. So God never sends you to the desert to kill you. But he knew that Moses was going to wander with 1 million people in a desert. And so he needed to understand the lay of the land before he got to his assignment. So God is only using the desert as a blueprint to help you with your next assignment. There's assignment in the space. So God used that. He used how to start a business, He used how to run the business. He used how to manage people. I was working for a corporate company. Just all the things. I was doing payroll. I was doing all kinds of things. I was doing stuff in the desert. I was doing stuff in the desert that I had never done before. You know, I had a company car. I was like, what am I doing with a company car? Who gave me a company car and a company credit card? Like, who
approved this? Who approved this?
Who approved this? I need to speak to their boss. But all of those things, God was using all of those things because when I got to Dallas, it would turn into I would start a business. I would start a business in Dallas. But I needed the desert. The desert showed me everything I needed to know so that I could be prepared for the assignment when I got here to Dallas.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. You moved to Dallas, and now you're a therapist. You're like, I'm ready. Why didn't you pursue just working for a company, or maybe you did, versus starting your own?
Who was 11? So in June 5th, 2026. Okay, so here's the thing. So sometimes when you get to the desert, and you know you got your skills up, you be like, this desert ain't that bad. Because first of all, I'm making more money than I ever made as a funeral director. I was making nearly, with my whole entire package, it was close to $100,000 a year. I never made that kind of money as a funeral director. I mean, never. Okay, so I was making money. I was like, okay, I may not live in Atlanta, but I had weave in my hair at the time, so it's like every 10 weeks I drive to Atlanta. I hit the I hit 85. I burn a hole in that, stay the weekend. My girlfriends are out there. We good. We gonna settle into the desert. I was like, okay, God, if this is where you have me, I'm not gonna leave. If Raleigh is gonna be it, fine. I'll settle in, right? And the minute I said that, about 2 weeks later, we had an emergency meeting. All managers in the region, we had an emergency meeting, and they said, we need you all to go on an unpaid furlough for a week. Everybody on the funeral division has to go on this furlough. I said, so you telling me I can't work and you're not gonna pay me? They're like, no, we're not gonna pay you. Come to find out, the company, the corporate company was overstating their cash flow to their investors. They ended up getting in trouble for that. They took a whole week's salary away from us so that their investors could think that they had more capital than what they did. So if a company wants to show that they have more capital, the highest revenue line, or the highest, not the assets, but the liability, the highest liability for a company is going to be payroll. So they cut all of our payroll for a whole entire month to show that they had more money and more capital to their investors than they actually did.
Wow.
So I said, oh, okay. So the first thing I did was bet. I jumped in my car, I drove to Atlanta, and I stayed in Atlanta for a week. It was June 5th, 2016. The Lord woke me up out of my sleep and said, I want you to move to Dallas. Now, at the time, I was thinking Dallas, Georgia, because Dallas, Georgia is just a little suburb right outside of Atlanta. I was like, bet, I'm going back to Atlanta. Let's roll. Let's go. I was ready to go.
Like, I knew it.
Going back to Atlanta. I said, wait a minute. You can't do this to me because my family is going to think I'm crazy. I literally just moved here a year and a half ago. Cross state. Get the U-Haul, all my stuff. Like, they don't think I'm weird. Like, you can't do me like this. I'm gonna be looked at as the crazy person. And here's the thing, because they thought my mama was a crazy person. When she picked us up from New York and moved us to South Carolina, and took us from South Carolina and moved us to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Who in Tulsa, Oklahoma? She wanted to go to Rainbow Bible School, so she was like, God told me to go, so I'm going. Right. I was like, man, they're gonna think like it's something in our genes, like we're crazy. They're gonna think we're nuts. And he was like, okay, you're going to Texas. And I was like, so I got up and I said, okay, all right. So I went back to North Carolina and I started prepping. My mom had come to my house about 4 months before that, and I had still kept all my boxes from when I moved to Atlanta. All my moving boxes was in the hall closet of my apartment in North Carolina. My mama said, why you ain't throw these boxes away? I said, because this ain't my final destination. I'm about to be moving. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna move into a house or whatever, but I'm keeping them because I'm gonna move. Baby, when I got back to Raleigh from Atlanta, I started boxing up my stuff. I said, well, it's time for us to go. We moving. And so I took that next 9 months. Wow. And I got my stuff together. One of my classmates from OU said, hey, you can come and stay with me for a few months until you get ready. But I packed up my stuff and I moved. And in January 26th of 2017, I wrote my regional manager my resignation letter. Wow. It's real. Thank y'all for everything. But this is my 2 weeks. I gave them my 2-week notice. And February the 6th, I think, I put I had a pod. The pods came and picked up all my stuff. Right. I had my clothes in my car. I drove to Atlanta, hung out with my friends for a week, got my weed touched up, and I moved on to Dallas. I came to Dallas, and I was here. And when I got here, the girlfriend that has the funeral home, I met her through a chance meeting. The very first day I met her, I walked into the office. I had my funeral suit on, walked in, and I was like, hey, you need some help? She was like, well, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. The phone started ringing. A family walked in the door to make funeral arrangements. She was in the funeral home by herself. I sat there. I made arrangements with the family. I answered phones all day, got a body picked up, called the embalmer to tell them to come embalm the body because we got a funeral in a couple of days, got all the documents together, and she was like,
you're hired.
You're hired. Because I didn't have a job yet. And then I was on the computer one day. I was looking for a job at a counseling agency. And I wasn't looking for this job, but the at the bottom of the screen on Indeed, another company pulled up, and the company was Logos Counseling. And when I saw the word Logos, because I'm a church girl, I knew that they had something to do with scripture, biblical, Christian. And so I just applied. I was like, well, this is not the one I came here to apply, but I'm applying. Went ahead and applied, got a call the next day. That Thursday, went in for an interview that morning. He was like, you're hired. I said, oh, okay. All right. So now I got 2 jobs. I was like, okay, fine. So I started working for Logos Counseling under the direction of owner Todd Baker. And he needs to be mentioned here because we never know who God is going to use to get us to the next level. About 1.5 years after that, the Lord has said, hey, you need to go out on your own. I was like, no, I got a salary here. Like, this is like
save some.
I'm not doing that. Like, look at the economy. I'm not doing that. Okay? And I went to Michelle Obama's Becoming. She was on book tour, and Becoming had came to the American Airlines Arena here in Dallas. I went and I heard her speak, and she said, your purpose is too big for you to build someone else's dream and not your own. Now, when she came and spoke that, the owner, Todd, had come to me and asked me if I would take a salary position to be his marketing director. Because by that time, the Lord had started opening doors. I was pretty much bringing in my own clients. And he was like, whatever it is you're doing, usually therapists have a really hard time with marketing themselves. He's like, but you don't. He's like, I don't know what you did because people started calling specifically asking for me, and it wasn't referrals anymore from his company. They were just calling for me. I was on the news. I was everywhere. And he's like, I don't know what you're doing, but I want you to teach them how to do what you're doing because they need help. I said, let me pray about it. I went to Michelle's Becoming. After the meeting with him, he gave me a book called The E-Myth. If you are out there and you're an entrepreneur and you are trying to figure out what you need to do and how does it look to be an entrepreneur, get the book called The E-Myth. E as in elephant, myth. He handed me that book on the way out as we were ending our meeting. I went to see Michelle Obama. I came back to him in January of that year. And I said, Todd, I can't take the job. I said, the Lord is calling me to go out on my own and I can't take it. And this is what he said. He said, I knew you weren't going to take the job when you left. He said, the Lord told me that you're too big for this. We are going to, and now this man had already had like 7 or 8 locations around North Texas. He said, we're not big enough for you. If you stay here, we're going to end up stifling you and you're not going to grow. God has something bigger for you.
Wow.
And so he said, here's what you can do. He said, here's what I'm going to do for you. He said, I already know that the Lord already told me that you were going to lead. He said, if you want to take your clients, you can take every last one of them. All you need to do is have them sign this waiver, and they can go with you. And so I walked out of his office with 90 clients.
Tori.
Turned the key to my own office with 90 people.
I thought you was going to say 9. I would have been like, praise God. You said 90.
90.
Now that sounds great. That's a bit overwhelming for one person. So I remember when you told us that you were starting your own business. Now I didn't know I was going through my own transition.
Yeah.
But I know, but I see every now and then, hey, we're expanding here. We're hiring here. We is your own company. So let's talk about it. How did you even get started with your own stuff?
Todd was influential in that. Again, if you read the E-Myth book, because when I read the book after I left the meeting with him, I was like, does he know he just gave me a blueprint to start my own business? Like, who does that? Like, who asks you to come and work for them and then give you a book on how to start your own business? That just doesn't make sense. Right. But once you read the book, it is a very clear kind of a blueprint on what it looks like to be an entrepreneur and how an entrepreneur can scale, and what it looks like to scale, and what it looks like to delegate responsibilities, and what it looks like to actually create a team in some way or another for yourself, so that you don't stifle the growth of your business due to your capacity to not be able to run every portion, every part of it. Okay, so that was probably the one thing that I learned, because most entrepreneurs, when they go into business, they go into the business as a worker. You've worked the business, you did the thing, right? So I was the therapist, I was seeing the clients, but now you have to almost switch hats to being the CEO of the company and not the one that's running the company. So over these years that I've been, learning and growing and scaling into into the CEO of my company and scaling back some of my own hours, it took me opening the door to trust people with your vision. A lot of times as the entrepreneur, or even as the pastor, you start the ministry, you start the business, and you don't want the baby to go to daycare. So you think that you can breastfeed the baby for the rest of its life. No, you're not going to go to daycare because you're going to come back with the cruds and you're going to get sick. If you don't let the baby grow, if you don't give the opportunity for you to allow other people to carry the baby, you're going to kill it. Because no 8-year-old baby is supposed to still be just drinking breast milk.
No, that's weird.
And so if your business is doing the same things, if it has the same infrastructure, if your church has the same infrastructure, has the same leaders, have the same people making all of the decisions, and you've been in ministry and business 5-6 years and nothing about your infrastructure has changed, this is the reason why you don't have as many customers, and this is the reason why you don't have as many congregants. It's really the same thing. You're going to have to trust other people with the baby. I'm going to go back to Moses, and his mother Jochebed was an amazing CEO of a commodity. The baby was in danger. They said they was going to kill all the Hebrew babies. She hid the baby. She carried and nurtured the baby for as long as she could. And then she had to build something to put the baby in and let the baby go down the river. And you may send somebody, but you have to trust somebody outside of yourself to watch the baby and see where the baby goes. The baby ended up at Pharaoh's daughter's bathing time. And what she birthed, she had to let go down the river and be caught by somebody else. And because it was caught by somebody else, and because God doesn't strip things from you, she came right on back and nurtured the baby until the baby got old enough and gave the baby back so the baby could grow and learn the ways of the Pharaoh that he was going to defy some years later. You have to let the baby go. You have to let somebody else nurture it. You have to let somebody else grow it. You have to let it get a cold so it can build its immune system. You have to let some part of it fail so that you can know what parts of it work. Let the baby go. You can't raise a baby all its life.
Wow.
Ain't nobody around here walking around carrying a 20-year-old. And if you are, it's because you have contributed to their crippling. Because at some point you should have let them fall. You gotta let them fall, you gotta let them crawl, you gotta let them scrape their knee. Your business is the same way. And so once God told me, you birthed the baby, but you have to let it come to me so I can grow the baby, I started saying I gotta hire some people. Because let me tell you, the pandemic, it was a rocket for my business, right?
Wow.
So at the pandemic, I had to call on a girlfriend who lives in Georgia, and I was like, look, sis, I'll pay for you to get your license here in Texas, but I can't see these people anymore. You have got to see these people. And so she actually trained me when I was a student getting my master's. She was my preceptor. She was my supervisor. And she has come on board and been a huge blessing. Kelly, she's been a huge blessing. And so Kelly came, got her Texas license, and I started giving her all of these clients. And baby, I was on the news every week during the pandemic. I was on News 5. I was on Channel 8. I was on the CW in Chicago. I was in the New York Times. I was on Everybody Podcast. I was on the Concord Podcast. I was on this podcast and everything. And God was like, I need you to pull back a little bit from working the business so that you can be the CEO of the business, so that you can be the voice of the business, so that you can be the face of the business, right? And that's what happened. So since then, I've hired, there's Kelly, and then there was Danielle and Ashley, and now I have Celeste. So there's about 5 of us. Sometimes Danielle and Ashley have gone on to further their careers. And so it's the 3 of us now. I am hiring. If you are in Texas and you are looking, you have your license as a therapist, come on board. I'm looking for you. There's more work than we can do between the 3 of us. And that's how I ended up kind of getting here. This is how we got here.
Tori, you can see the hand of God. Thank you for your obedience. Thank you for going along the journey, because now you can bring on other people to give them a livelihood.
Absolutely. Every week when I get to do payroll, I'm like, Lord, how you trusted me to be the payroll? Man, come on now. You play too much, right? I tell you, I also can see the hand of God. I thank God for the car accident that caused me to lose my jobs. I thank God that I lost my jobs. I thank God that I lost my home in foreclosure. I thank God that I had to that they furloughed me for a week and didn't pay me. I thank God for the people who tried to sabotage my career. I thank God for the fact that I couldn't find a friend in North Carolina if I bought one. I thank God for the times that I cried. I thank God for the times that I came to Dallas and the repo man was trying to get my car because I couldn't pay my car note, and I was going down these highways like the Dukes of Hazzard so he couldn't get my car. You wasn't going to get this Nissan Altima, baby. I don't know whichever one you going to get, but let me tell you.
Not this one.
If you get this, if you are going through some things, thank God for the things that you think are not going well. Thank him for those too. Don't just thank him for the mountain high. Thank him for the valley low. You know why? Because it's only in the low valley where you actually get more information on the soil. When you go into the valley, you get to see what's going on with the soil and how things grow in that area. That's what you should be doing in your valley experiences. You should be examining the soil. You don't need to be crying and be like, I don't know why it's so dirty and it's dusty and it's getting in my hair. Girl, thank God for the valley. Figure out what's going on down there. You get a better perspective of what's happening down here. You kind of you undercover. Don't nobody see you down there. You can plot and plan from the bottom. There's a lot of things you can see from the bottom. That's a really good perspective. So don't despise the valley years. Don't despise them. Honor them. I needed all of that to get here. I needed all of it.
You needed all of it because you didn't know on the other side people were going to be dependent on you.
That's it.
It's responsibility. That's what it is.
Responsibility.
More responsibility. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure to put E-Myth, the link to that in the chat. So everybody needs to go out and read it, including myself. just to better understand, of course, entrepreneurship, right? And just whatever the path that God has for you, but just to get the information. So when the time does come, you'll know what to do.
Yeah, you're going to see this podcast, and it's not going to be by accident. Everything in this podcast is going to be for you because the time is coming. It's now, it's here, and you are on the precipice of getting to your next thing, and you need that book. You need to be able to read it. You need to get the information from it. You need to know that when God tells you to do something, it's not a straight road. It's not A to B. It is A to F to Q to Raleigh, to Atlanta, to lose your job, to, it's all of those things. But if you see them as the breadcrumbs, they're always going to lead you back to the God who says, I'm never going to leave you. I'm never going to forsake you. I own everything. So I have everything. I know exactly what you need when you need it. Don't worry. I got you. He's using all of that as a breadcrumb to lead you back to him ultimately.
Man, guys, she has said so much on today. She done told you how to be a mortician, how to go and how to live and thrive on the backside of the mountain. Okay, how to humble yourself, how to be obedient to God, how to transition well, even when you don't want to. Okay, how to start a counseling business. Again, we'll put the link to the book. We've said so much. She encouraged us along the way. She didn't preach to us. We got our sermon for the day. We got some word. We know what we learned about Moses. We got some word. We got a lot from today. Okay, and just from her life, she was just talking about her life.
That's it.
And how valuable and how precious her life is.
Yeah.
And it's such a gift to us all. I mean, even as a friend, that's why I asked you to come on. I'm like, I didn't know all this, but I knew it was unique, and I knew it was special, and I knew it was God. So I want to make sure that we give people something that they can actually apply to their own lives, because that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? So I want you to end by telling people where they can follow you, tell them more about your business, how they can connect, as far as hiring, things like that.
Listen, if you want to work with us on any level, if you need a therapist, if you are a therapist and you are looking for a practice to work with, we would love to have you. Shoot me an email, Tori@gracefuljourneycounseling.com. You can always go to gracefuljourneycounseling.com and click the icon and contact us. You can send us an email. You can give me a phone call. I'm always available. You can also hit me up on social media when Tori Talks. I'm on Instagram, and I believe I'm the same thing on TikTok. I don't talk a whole bunch on the Tik, but I'm over there. If you follow TikTok, I'm over there. But definitely connect with me. I love people. I love the people of God. I love God's people. I don't care what your background is. I don't care. I love you. And I believe that as believers, we are called to love people. And I just love people. And I always ask God, I'm like, you know what? Why is it that usually I meet people sometimes at the most difficult times of their lives? And he says, because I'm going to give you a glimpse of the greatest times of their lives. I've also been able to see how God's hand has moved in the lives of his people, and that they do end up with beauty for their ashes. They do end up with joy in their mourning. And baby, I love to celebrate with you. When you celebrate, I celebrate. And so it's just been just the most wonderful, wonderful journey. And I'm so thankful to be a part of it. There are days I sit back and I'm like, I cannot believe I get to live this life. Like, this one right here is mine, and God specifically fashioned it for me, and I fit so well into it, and I just can't believe that. That's just mind blowing to me.
The best is yet to come. So just take note. As soon as you get comfortable.
I know. That's why I don't be liking to say anything.
We have to bring you back home. It's like, Tori, what happened? What's going on?
Girl.
But it's gonna be good regardless. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yes.
But no, this has been such a time of revelation, encouragement, I mean, so many nuggets was shared. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it because it really spoke to me. I'm very serious, and I know it's going to be an encouragement for those who are going to be watching the podcast. But that's why we're here. I don't like to do things just for the sake of doing it. I believe we started this podcast to help other people. Again, my whole sole purpose in life is to get individuals and businesses to their next level. So if it's not coming through me, maybe it's coming through people that are connected to me. Who cares? I just really want you to get to your next level, right?
Meagan, I just want to say thank you so much. You have been a blessing in my life. The prophetic gift that is on your life has truly been a blessing and a help to my life. Just in seasons when things were really dark, when I was in the desert, the Lord totally sent you, and you have been a light flashing in so many different seasons of my life. And I just want to say thank you. I love you. And you can call me 16 times to be a guest on the podcast, and the answer for you will always be absolutely. Just let me know when. Absolutely.
It is very mutual. For sure. I mean, no, seriously. And I know you're very busy, so thank you for taking the time out just to make space. But absolutely. No, it's very mutual, friend.
Yes,
I love you too. I'm so glad that God connected us on our journey, for sure. But still, it's just the beginning. We have no idea the plans that God has for us. So I'm excited. That makes me excited.
It makes me excited too. But baby, it's big. Listen,
man, I'm excited. Guys, get excited for yourself. Pray that God connects you to the right people at the right time. That's what it's all about. I mean, we've both been through very similar but unique journeys along our path to entrepreneurship and just in life. But you have your own journey, okay? So that's why we're here. Next month, we're going to have another guest in another field that's going to bless you as well. But we just want to make space every month, first Thursday of the month, to just have a conversation, okay? So that's what it's all about. But Tori, thank you again for your time. I love you, sis. Thank you for just your life. God bless your life for sure. But guys, until we meet again next month, go out and be purposeful. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.